Welcome back. So this is going to be a quick tutorial on factoring x squared plus bx plus c. Factoring is the opposite to multiplication. Now I want you to take notes as if you're in class. Factoring is the opposite to multiplication. Okay, let's look at a numerical case of multiplication. 3 times 5 equals 15. Factoring is taking 15 and breaking it into factors. So factoring is taking the composite number 15 and saying, you know what, that's equal to 3 by 5. I'm just going to write it another way here as well. Okay, great. So if we're going to learn how to factor, taking 15 and turning into 3 5s, taking x squared plus 8x, 2 6 is 12, and turning it into x plus 2, x plus 6. This is factoring. If we're going to be able to do that, we're going to have to think in terms of being organized, organizing into cases, and instead of learning to factor directly, we'll start off by thinking, where did the factors come from? So 4 quick expansions. So we're going to categorize. Same sign positives. And I'm just going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 across the top. To give us some ammunition. Okay, some numbers we could grab. So let's just for a second consider what 2 numbers add to 11. Well, lots of cases. 10 and 1, 9 and 2, and so on. Let's use 9 and 2. So let's go with x plus 2 times x plus 9. So they're both positive. Now let's multiply that out. Let's use FOIL. We have 2x and 9x. And we have x squared plus 11x plus 18. Okay, so this will be, this plus will tell us they're both the same. They're both the same sign and they're both positive. 2 9s 18 and 11x. Okay. Now other cases of other cases of the middle. So what we know about when this is plus is that the 2 numbers must add to 11. Okay. So if we're making up examples, let's just make up an example with 7. How do 2 numbers add to 7? Let's say 5 and 2. Well, 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, and so on. So these we will be factoring, and we'll be factoring them by doing the opposite, saying, hey, how can 2 numbers add to 7 and multiply to 10? Now, where you come at it, if the number is quite small here, it's okay to come at it here. If the number is very big, we want to come at it from here with factoring. Don't worry if you're getting a little bit discombobulated at this stage. We're just going to drive on, and that's called case 1. Case 1, they're the same and they're positive. Okay. Let's look at case 2, where they're the same and they're negative. Same old thing here. Let's use 3 and 7. So x minus 3, x minus 7. What are they? They're both negative. The factors are both negative. Both same sign, both negative. Great. Okay, multiply it out. Neg 3, neg 7 is neg 10 plus 21. When we're dealing with this, we're trying to find 2 numbers that add to 10. So we're saying, how can I split 10 into 2 numbers that multiply to 21? Or how can I factor 21 into 2 numbers that add to 10? This is saying they should add, and the whole thing is a minus minus. So when it comes to laying down the form, this will turn into this. That's case 2. And our radical change is when we go mixed. So we've seen so far both negative and both positive. So now we're going on to mixed with a dominant. Let's make a dominant positive. And another thing I want to say to you here is we're going to go back to our numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and I'm going to take two numbers that are 3 apart. You probably agree that 0 and 3 are 3 apart, but so is 1 and 4, so is 2 and 5, and so on. So look at what I'm doing here as I'm scanning through these. Now, why am I doing that? Well, let's solve this. Okay. Or in other words, let's take these that are 3 apart and make 7 the dominant sign. So, sorry, I should actually be starting with a factor. So what I'm going to say about this factor, so this is where we started before we make this. So what I'm going to say about this is, it is mixed sign, mixed factors, opposite sign factors, a positive and a negative, with a dominant positive. Okay, with 7 being the larger of the two numbers, dominant positive. Okay, and it will give rise to a 7x on the inners and a negative 4x on the positives. And the war of sign is won by the positive. So you're getting x squared plus 3x minus 28. Okay. The other thing that can happen, again, I can say, hey, I want a gap. Let's say I want a gap of 2. So I could use 1 and 3, I could use 2 and 4, I could use 3 and 5, and so on. Let's use 3 and 5. 3 5s, 15. I'm definitely going with a negative case here now. We're going with x squared minus 2x minus 15. So here we are, and we have, this has come from, let me do it again, they're 2 apart, 3 and 5. This has come from the numbers 3 and 5 with the negative dominating, in other words, big one dominating. So x minus 5, x plus 3. Okay, I expand that. Let me expand it downwards because I've used up my room upstairs, so that my foil rainbowy kind of structure can work downwards too. Minus 5x, 3x, x squared. My 3x take 5x is take 2x. Negative 5 by plus 3 is negative 15. So when we're processing this, we're going to look at it and go mixed, a plus and a minus, with a dominant minus. When we're going into this, we're going to say dominant minus, meaning this is going to get the big number. This is going to get the small number. And when I'm saying number, I'm talking about natural numbers. Give me two numbers that are 2 apart that multiply to 50. When you go up to your number line and you start researching, you find them very quickly as 3 and 5 is the only answers. And when you write down those two numbers, you look for the big one and you put that in there where it dominates, because negative dominates here. Great. So we're ready actually to begin our process of laying out our 4 cases, whereby we're only factoring. So what I'd say to you is take a sheet of A4, break it up like this, pause the video as often as you like, and we'll do the following. And I will tell you what my train of thought is here. Again, I'm thinking of the numbers. Don't be afraid to write these out and make life easy for yourself. So I'm thinking I'm going to make the two numbers add to 11. 8. Well, 8 and 3 can be difficult because 8 is highly composite. So 9 is quite a bit composite as well. 7 and 4, again, there's composition here because it's 2 2s. 6 and 3. Let's go the other way around. Let's look for 2 prime numbers. 11 and 7. They add to 18. Okay, so if I had x squared plus 18x, 11 and 7, plus 77. It's a classic case of plus plus, and you factorize 77, you get the numbers 7 and 11, and it's 18. So they're both positive. It doesn't matter where you put the numbers. And now I'm going to start introducing the next second part of it, which is the And I'm going to need some more space here. So say, I never said it's going to be perfect video. I'm just going to make a video that tries to quickly get across to you everything I know about maths. Or as much as you need to know about maths anyway to get your Leaving Cert done. Or your Junior Cert, as the case may be. So we've x squared plus 18, x plus 77. We are going to start talking about the steps. With the first step is to factor it. You know from here they're same and they're positive and they're monic, meaning they lead with x. So I know this is for certain going to happen. Doesn't matter older than you. It's very easy to factorize. That's what I have in you. No matter. So if you couldn't handle that number 77, if it wasn't coming to you, what are the factors? You'd go 77 into memory with the equals, and you would shift factorize it. You get 7 and 11. So I want you writing down those numbers, candidate numbers, or those numbers here. So it's going to be part of our step 7 and 11, even though it's straightforward, drop them in wherever you like and keep it equal to 0. Now the zero product rule. A product is when you multiply together and you get 0. The zero product rule says that in turn they have to be 0, but we'll just go jump to roots by going x plus 7 equals 0, x equals minus 7. So we'll say x equals minus 7, which is flipping the sign off the factor, or minus 11. And we'll go ahead and make a sketch, a parabola. Okay, this is called a quadratic. It's algebra. And when a quadratic is sketched, it's called a parabola. And that's it. It needs an x-axis. We'll hold back in the y-axis. We'll mark the two roots. A root is where a graph cuts the x-axis. You might want to write that down. A root is where a graph cuts the x-axis. Or in terms of equations, a root is where an expression is equal to 0. Same thing. Negative 11 and negative 7 are put in the relative order that they belong. And pretend this is your y-axis as a first guess, which is all wrong, but it's a good place to start, bang in the middle. And move in the positive direction a lot. Move positive a lot. You'll see what I mean in a second. Move positive a lot. We're up here. Oh, am I off picture nearly? Hold on, now I'll mess with the camera. Okay, I move positive a lot. There's my y-axis. That makes sense because these numbers are down here on the negative x-axis. This number here is 77. Nothing about scale. Does it look like it? It doesn't matter. You're sketching. Okay, so there's your sketch. It has, if you like, 0.77 on it, but we might just represent that as 77. It has negative 11, 0 on it, and it has negative 7, 0 on it. And we've done a lot, everything we could possibly want to do. We've taken the original expanded form equation, set it to 0. We have factored it. We've come up with our numbers that'll work. We have factored it. We've identified that it's plus plus. We've dropped in those numbers. We have solved it using the zero product rule. We've come up with our two roots. We've put them on a graph with a parabola, and we put our y-axis in the relative place. Brilliant. Next question. So next question. Again, I'm thinking of taking a large-ish number, or actually I think it might be, and I've learned something myself during the making of this video. It's easier to pick prime numbers or ones. I'm just going to write 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. And that's what I used to do anyway. And I can look at them, and this time I'm going to use 1, okay, because it's a number that does show up quite a lot. So I'll use 1 and 7. Okay, so in other words, I'm going to go minus 8x plus 7. Okay, so you face into this and you look at it and you go, right, this is a both genius situation, and it's very special. The numbers must multiply to 7. Well, 7 is a prime number, so we're going to have no surprise when we when we factor it. And you can do that on the old calculator down here with what's it called, format to prime numbers, same thing. So, and 7 and 1 are our numbers, so we write down our numbers because it's one of our steps. By the way, it's typical to write the steps to the right. It's just a typical thing in maths rather than to the left. So we'll have our numbers line. We'll have our factor form line. And because I'm making a video, I'm going to leave that separate. I'm going to leave it there, but normally you'd cover in on top of it. Okay, well, I'll write it twice just for the video. Okay, so you're going to have your numbers. You're going to have your sign pattern. You're going to drop your numbers in. In this case, it is commutative. It doesn't matter. They can be swapped, so it just doesn't matter where they go. There's no question where I put which one. In a few minutes, they will matter. We drop in 1 and 7, set it to 0. We flip the signs as we go to the roots. So you start x equals 1 or 7. And you sketch it with a shallow smile, an x-axis, a marking of the points. Obviously, you couldn't put them the other way around. Put your y-axis in the middle. You move in the negative direction a lot. And that's your y-axis. And that there is 7. And we're kind of done. You could say 1, 0, 7, 0, 0, 7. Aren't we doing just fine? 2 cases done. The case of both negative and both positive. Now we'll go on to mixed with a dominant positive. Mixed with a dominant positive. Okay, let's multiply something out first. For multiplying this out, mixed sign, 1 positive, 1 negative, dominant positive, larger positive than negative in terms of the natural numbers. Expand that out. Use FOIL, use split brackets, use whatever you want, but FOIL is the quickest. And we are going with a gap of 4. 11x subtract the difference of 4. Maybe a gap's not the right word. Maybe the better word is the difference of 4. So what does it look like? Well, because I'm dominating with a positive, this is plus. And what is 7 11s? It's 77. It's mixed sign, so it's negative. Minus means mixed. Minus means mixed. It's mixed with a dominant positive, with a bigger positive. Okay, so here with the 4, you're finding 2 numbers that multiply to 77. Again, factoring only gives one solution. It's the prime it's what's it called? It's a fabulous phrase I'm going to give you now. If I can think of it. The fundamental, there's a word for you. The fundamental principle, this sounds very important, the fundamental principle of counting, crazy idea, says that there's only one way to write the factors of any one number. So if you want 77, it's 7 by 11, prime factors. So using prime numbers multiplied together, there's only one way to make every number. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, so what do these sums look like? There we had a gap of 4, the difference of 4. So I can make any difference I want, but you know what? I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to write my prime numbers as I make this question up. And I'm just going to eyeball 2 of them. These 2. Okay, 11 and 13. How far between them? 2. We're done. Have we done? No, we haven't really. So I'll make another positive. I'll start off with a dominant positive. So it's going to be minus. Multiplying them together, lovely trick. 1 and 3. You can use your calculator, but 1 and 3 is 4. Minus 143. I'll multiply 13 by 11. What I'm saying is add 1 and 3 and put it between the 1 and 3, you get 143. Okay, negative 143. So this is your question. Now we're doing the real factoring. We identify this as a plus plus, as a plus minus, as mixed with the dominant or larger number going here. Okay, calculator will tell you in a few seconds that this is the numbers are 11 and 13. The big number goes there, small number goes there, you set it to 0. This tells us that x is equal to minus 13 or 11. Put them in the right order. 11, negative 13. Put your y-axis down as if you know where it is, even though you don't, because you're pretending it's in the middle, but you know you're wrong. But that's okay. It's a good first guess. And you look at the plus, says no, you're going to have to adjust it, moving it in a positive way. Because this is mixed, you want... do I have another pen here now? You want, because this is mixed, you want this to be negative. So you don't want to come out here a lot where it'll become positive again. So you want your constant to be negative, so you're moving a little bit here. And the whole business about that moving a little bit is that you're making, you know, these be identified relative in magnitude to each other. Okay, 11 is a bit less than 13. Okay, and now that's case 3. Case 4 is when it's a minus minus. Okay, but I want you looking at this going, it's mixed sign, not the same sign, dominated by a positive. Okay, now we'll have mixed sign dominated by negative. Okay, negative. Mixed sign dominated by negative. Let's lead off with the negative because of this, meaning the other one must be positive. How do I know it's mixed? Because of this. Minus means mixed. Minus means mixed. Okay. Find your two numbers, the difference. And I'm talking about finding natural numbers now because we're keeping the sign consideration separate. So the difference is 4 and this is 21. Put in your calculator. 21 equals shift factor it. 3 and 7. Is the difference 4? Yes, we like it. Our numbers are 3 and 7. The big one goes into minus. The big one goes here. The small one goes here. Set it to 0. Now we go to our roots. Our roots come from flipping the sign. Now we go to our graph. The negative is here. The positive is here. Our guess at the y-axis is in the middle. But no, it's not. It's moving a little bit to the left. Your sketch is finished. Okay, that's your 4 cases. So I'm going to write out 4 sums for you to do. And you do them now before we finish. See all that? You can. So x squared plus 15 plus 8x. I want you to solve, factor, solve, sketch using factors. Now, no minus b formula. Okay. A second one, both positive, both negative, both positive. The gap between the numbers is 5x. Let's use 5 and 10. Gap between the numbers is 1. Let's use 7/8 is 56. There's your 4 problems. I want you doing everything that I've done on all of them. Pause the video. When you're done, turn the video back on again. Welcome back. Okay, so it is positive, positive, 3, 5, minus 3 or minus 5, sketch, boom, minus 5, minus 3. We have moved in the positive direction a lot. Here's my y-axis, my x-axis, and my intercept is 15. 7 and 11 are my numbers. They're both minus. Equals naught. My roots are, and I don't write the word, I can write it here, but the big word for roots is x equals 7 or 11. Boom, 11, 7, an x-axis, and a y-axis. How big is that? 77. Gap of 5. 5 and 10 are my numbers because they multiply to 50. It's mixed and it's dominated by positive. Dominated by positive, positive goes there, negative goes there, negative 10 or 5, boom, negative 10 or 5, y-axis in the middle, moving positive direction a bit, okay, telling me that's negative 50. Gap of 1, they multiply to 56, the numbers are 7 or 8. Oh, hold on a minute, I wanted that to be minus, didn't I? This was a plus minus, so if I want a third case, oh, so sorry, I messed up the whole video on you. No, I didn't. Come on, we can get over it. Pretend that was minus. Pause the video again and do it again. What it'll do, it'll swap your plus and minus, it'll swap the roots, it'll flip the graph over. Okay, good, you're learning. So boom, 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 7, 8, 56. What do I want? I want mixed sign, dominated by a minus, because I've switched that to minus. Eight or minus 7, minus 7, 8, moving negative a bit. Okay, the long video, really important. I try to rank concepts or skills with how frequent are they used and how important are they. If that's the case, this is a 5-star. It's very important. It's how frequent do you use it all the time. And how difficult is it? Well, I'd say it's probably a 4-star. Because there's a lot of complicated stuff in there. As always, students, I will see you in the next one.